Okay guys, welcome to another episode of Is This Possibly the Worst Game Ever? Well, I've got to say right here and now, this one is an absolute doozy. There is an article actually which I came across a couple of days ago. I've actually put a link to it below. Go and check it out. It gives you the whole history behind this debacle. This game, Sqij, it was programmed by a young chap who goes by the name of Jason Kendall. He was only 12 years old when he wrote the game, and he sold it to CRL. Now CRL, they wanted the game converted to the Spectrum, and because the young boy didn't have any Spectrum experience, they gave it to another young chap who goes by the name of Jason Creighton. Now, when Jason was originally given the game, he was convinced he was going to do a really good conversion. He wanted to write it in machine code, make it really top notch. However, there was some items that he needed before he could progress, so he went to the CRL offices and was dismissed and told basically to get on with it. So he went back to his house, and CRL couldn't even give him a copy of the Commodore 64, which would be quite an important thing. Eventually, at the end of January, CRL gave him a copy of the C64 game, but it was on a disc and he didn't have a disc drive, so he had no way of actually seeing the game. The only time he'd actually seen the game was when he went to the CRL offices. But anyway, undeterred, CRL sent Jason a copy of the Sqij map, and then they started to basically pester him to get the job done. Now at that point he had 1 month left to do the conversion, and he had exams coming up. He was still at school, he had exams coming up, and he thought, well, there's no way I'm possibly going to get this done in the time. I'm not going to be able to do a machine code conversion. So what he did was he bought a software package called Laser Basic, which was released by Ocean Software. I do remember seeing it getting advertised at the time. So he'd seen this in a computer shop and he bought Laser Basic, and he then went on to write the Sqij conversion for the Spectrum. Now when he finished it, it was then released. The game was released without being checked, and when they did check it, or when it eventually did get released, they realised that the game was completely and utterly unplayable. Now the reason being is there was absolutely no joystick option available, it was keys only. Now the game was looking for the small Z and X buttons to move left and right. Now programmed into the game, it actually had the caps lock, so the caps lock was set to on, which meant that the game is looking for the small Z and small X, but the user had no way of doing that because the caps lock was set to on. So basically it didn't matter what key you pressed, the game would simply not respond. So what you're seeing here is all you could do when you load this game up is to look at it. There was no possible way to actually interact with the game in any shape or form. Now I believe the game was eventually some of the hackers recently managed to go into the code and tweak it so that it's no longer looking for a capital Z or capital X. So the game is now playable. But the crazy thing was, the game was then released a couple of years later as part of a compilation, and even then it was released in its completely broken, unusable form, which is just absolutely mental to think that a game could could go through 2 releases and nobody actually bothered to check the game. Just incredible. So I mean, if you had bought that, I think it was released in budget, if you'd paid any money for that, you had absolutely no way of playing the game. It's probably one of these games I would have if I'd bought it, I'd have probably not realised, I probably wouldn't have come to the conclusion that the game was actually unplayable. I'd probably think it was just me being daft. So yeah, that is what you're seeing here is the game of Sqij. It is completely unplayable because of a bug. So I think that probably makes it just about the worst game ever, because it is not a game, it is simply a screen looking at a large, quite ugly looking bird moving up and down, and that is about it. So yeah, but go and check out, read the article below. It's quite entertaining. It's quite amusing that, you know, something like that could actually have escaped quality control, not once but twice. But anyway guys, if there's a game just as bad or worse or even pretty shite that you want to see featured in this feature, please just put your wee comment below, and as usual guys, thank you very much for watching.